Hey everybody, I am Kyle, and today I wanted to do a different kind of video. I'm not a YouTuber, possibly yet, but this is a different video than what I've done in the past. So, I wanted to talk about some of the things I'm passionate about. Two things come to mind. Arguing with people on the internet and soccer. And one thing that I argue with a lot of people on the internet about is the word soccer. So a lot of people are going to get upset that I just used the word soccer. And I hope they do. Probably going to start a lot of arguments on YouTube. Anyway, here's the thing. This is a World Cup year. This is one of the best times to be a sports fan. I have friends that don't even like soccer, that when it comes to the World Cup, they get excited when the U.S. is in it. So, yay, we're going to Qatar in 2022. But that's going to open up ESPN and Fox Soccer and all of these sports outlets to actually start posting about soccer again. And you're going to see a lot of people arguing, I'll be one of them, on the internet about the term soccer because, let's face it, mostly it's British people. They don't like the term soccer. They get very upset when they hear it, when they see it. They don't like the way it's spelled. Why is it called sock? I'm going to explain that. So here's the thing. Soccer, the term soccer, derives from late 1800s England. It comes from the official name for the sport that is played today of association football. Football was played centuries ago, where there was no organization, there was no rules. People would go out with bats and beating people to death in the middle of a game, and there was no rules to how many people could be on the field. It was just unorganized mayhem. So they came up with an organized set of rules that has transformed it into the sport that is played today across the world. And that is association football. Now here's the thing. A lot of people say, well, you're correcting people who call it football to association football. I do not care if you call it football. I don't care what you call it. What I do is troll the ones who call it football with teaching them of the history of the term soccer. So it comes from shortening up association football to SOC, adding another C to spell it to be soccer. And that is where that term comes from, late 1800s England. And because there was association football and there was rugby football, there's something called Harrow football. I have no idea what that is, honestly, but in doing research, I've just seen it. So they had to find a way to differentiate all of these different types of football. Because, I'm going to piss some people off, but the British were not original enough to come up with different names of sports that you play on your feet, not on horseback or in the water, such as water polo or equestrian sports. They just called it, you're on your feet, there's a ball, football. That's where the term comes from that most scholars understand. So here's the thing. They're like, hey, we're going to call this rugby football. We're going to call this association football. But if I'm going to walk up to my friend and be like, hey, let's go play football, then you have to have the conversation of, are we playing association football? Are we playing rugby football? Are we playing Harrow football? Somebody please look it up and explain what that is to me. But, so they shortened it down from association to soccer. And so whenever you're correcting us for calling it soccer, you're getting upset at your own term that you coined. So I had a British friend of mine tell me, I lived in England and in Liverpool, my entire life, and I've never heard anybody use the term soccer. And that's because England won the World Cup in 1966, and they decided, screw it, we're dropping it, we're calling it football, and we're going to make sure everybody else in the world calls it football, or else we're going to cry on the internet in 60, 70 years, and never let people forget about it. Here's the thing. I don't care if you call it football. Nobody in America, in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, because we all call it soccer, because we were all British colonies at one point. You know, England took over the world for a very short little bit of time, and they won't let go of it. But so a lot of our vernacular that we use, some of it comes from British slang from whenever the colonists came over to the countries, and it stuck. We invented the game of football. It came from, you had soccer, you had rugby, and now you got American football. And does it make sense for American football to be called football? No, because there's only one person that really kicks the ball, and you know, most people in the world think that they can do it and they really can't. That's a video for another time. But I'm not going to correct you if you call it football. I'm not going to correct you if you call it association football. I'm not going to say, oh, you call it football, but it should be association football. I'm not going to do that unless you're one of the people on the internet that is just, you know, adamant that soccer be eliminated from the English dictionary that they wrote. So let's just enjoy the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was educational. I love British people. You're good, Emma Watson. But soccer's acceptable. Football's acceptable. Football, you know, you say it in Spanish, is acceptable. Have a good day.